Hi everyone, we are live here with Anvis and with Dogspot. Dr. Ramesh, welcome to our Facebook live session on ticks, the TikTok that we're going to have today. Let me introduce Dr. Ramesh to everybody. Dr. Ramesh works with Cessna Lifeline. He's actually one of the founding partners of Cessna Lifeline. Brilliant vet, brilliant surgeon. Okay, it's a privilege to have him here with us today. Hi, Dr. Ramesh, welcome.
Hi, thank you everyone. Hi.
So, Dr. Ramesh, we will give it a few minutes as it takes a few minutes for everybody to log on and to get onto the live. So let's just hold on for a few minutes. Let me introduce myself also, guys. Hi, I'm Preeti. I used to work with Dr. Ramesh at Cessna. He was my mentor, somebody who trained me, and I think helped me become what I am today. So I can't tell you how excited I am to be talking to him and hosting his session here today. So, okay, so let's slowly get started. So, Dr. Ramesh, we're going to be talking about ticks today. As we know, this is a huge problem, not just in India, I think, but world over. People struggle with ticks and the kind of infections and problems that come with ticks. So, I think the first question really that everybody has is, what are ticks? Is there a difference? We hear people talk about ticks, and then there's fleas, and then there's mites, and everyone's not too sure what is what. You go to a vet and you come back saying, my dog had mites. Is that different from ticks? Can you explain to us what is the difference between these three?
Okay, so basically, when we talk about the ticks, fleas, and mites, ticks are the bigger organism which you can see with the naked eye, and even the fleas also you can see with the naked eye. Mites you can't see with the naked eye. Some mites sometime you can see with the naked eye, especially the ear mites. The skin mites is very difficult to see with the naked eye. So in the difference between ticks and fleas is ticks will stick to the one place, or they can't fly, you can say, and fleas can fly. They are very fast to move, and it's very difficult to catch them. And so in first we go for the ticks. What different kind of ticks you get on your pet? So most of the times you'll see the ticks which is flat ticks, and with the eight legs, four pair of legs in that. Those are male ticks, and the hard ticks, you can say, those are harder from their carapace or the upper surface. And soft ticks are
Hard,
those.
is it?
Huh?
Hard ticks is what you're saying.
Yeah, those are male, which they are not able to suck too much of blood, because they don't need to suck too much blood. They have to survive on the blood only. They don't have to lay the eggs. So those softer ticks, which is female ticks, those
Ah,
ticks will drink lots of blood, because they need more protein to lay the eggs. So
okay.
those are female ticks, and those are more harmful. They'll just suck the blood from the body. They'll fall from the body after that once they are fully, and goes round. Sometimes you must have seen the round kind of thing, gray color ticks. And once they fall, they'll go in the
Squishy one.
area. Huh?
The big
Yeah,
squishy one.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, and once they fall from the body, they'll go and hide in the area where dampness is there, or the environment temperature is slightly towards the higher side, above, you can say, 12 or 15 degree. They can lay the eggs even up to 35-40 degree also easily, but this is ideal for them. And then once they lay the eggs, then eggs can stays for long term, based on the environment temperature and the conducive temperature. Once comes, they'll hatch, and then the nymphal stage will come. So once the before nymphal, larval stage comes, which is larva is three pair legs organism, and which you'll see on your dog just like a dot. I get, in my clinical experience, I get so many of dogs which comes with the itching only, simple itching, and the owner will say that my dog is just biting from backside completely, and so many times we'll think that it's a kind of flea infestation. But when we closely see those things, wherever those small inflammatory lesions are there, in the center you will see just a dot. You can say just proper dot only. And if we see this under microscope, we'll see that six legs organism, which just like
Oh,
looks like a ticks only, but those are larval stage. and only that larval stage can cause the allergy condition in the body. Adult and nymphal stage, less likely they cause any allergy and itching. This is very less people
Okay.
knows about the larval stage. Adult
Okay.
nymphal stage, most of people they knows. So once the larva feed on the body again, then they becomes nymphal stage. Nymphal stage will be, you'll see round structures, round or ticks, which is maybe you can say 1 mm in size. Those are easily visible, and they are that time there will be in different sizes, small to big. They will be all different sizes based on that how much blood they are sucking, and then they convert into the adult stage, which is again 8 leg organism, and then this cycle will keep going. So this is the ticks part. Then it comes to the fleas. So fleas are the organism which can jump. They have a longer hind legs, so they can jump through the hind legs. They can't fly directly,
Okay.
but they can jump up to 2 meters. Okay, so
Okay.
they will
Two
not.
meters.
Yeah, they can jump
Two.
2 meters.
Wow.
Yeah, they can jump if they have a conducive environment to jump properly. They can jump long term. That's why sometimes even your dog is not going out or cat not going out, still they can get the fleas, because fleas can sense from the human that in this person's house there's a dog or cat is there. So they can climb on the person also, and then they'll go to the so many people
And
the
that's how the transmission happens then. So you could
can
actually
happen,
end up
can
catching
happen.
that.
It can happen through the means definitely it can happen through the animal to animal, but in fleas we have seen the cases where the owner has told that I my cat never gone out, and in last 6 years we never have a flea problem, but for last few days we are seeing one or two fleas on the cat. So that can happen because fleas can sense that this person's clothes are having this smell of the pet, and then they can jump on that, and then it can happen. So these are possible things, but ticks fleas are again anybody will try to catch the fleas, it's very difficult to catch. They'll go in between the hairs, and they'll hide, and then you'll not able to find again. So
Yeah, and they're
those
very difficult to catch, right? If you try to catch them, they just fly, they just jump.
yeah,
So you can't
they'll jump
really.
also. They'll just go in between the hairs and they'll hide, and especially if your dog is brown color or black color, it's very difficult to find out them. Yeah, and
Yeah.
mostly yeah, and fleas we usually cause the mainly the allergy conditions, but that allergy is depends upon individual to individual. Some people they may not have too much of allergy despite of having lots of fleas, and some dogs even if one flea will come on their body, they will be sensitized with the all over the body. They'll be having itching all over the body. So it's not that sometimes more fleas causing problem, but some people are sensitive. Like some people are sensitive to bee bite. In some people, if bee bite happens, they'll get a small flare on the area where the bite is there. And some people with the same bee bites, they'll get all over the body allergic reaction. So in dogs also,
Okay.
some dogs are allergic to flea bites. Just
Okay.
like in some dogs, even one or two fleas, they will keep biting themselves, and they will get ear problems also because of fleas. They'll keep biting backside, and then the other skin problems start because of the flea allergy. And
Okay,
some
we'll
dogs
come to Dr. Mish, we'll just come to, there are a whole lot of conditions I think that are associated, right, with ticks
yeah,
and with fleas and, the kind of things that can happen. You've already covered, I think one is how do we identify the different types of ticks as well as the life cycle of ticks. I do have one question though on the identification of the different types of ticks. Recently, in the last, I think maybe a year or so, the Lyme disease is one of those ticks that has that has also come into the country, right? Is that a different type of tick? How do you identify that tick, or is it to look at? Is it really the same as the other ticks that you see?
Axodis tick which cause the Lyme disease, it looks almost same, but because earlier it used to be mainly in the America, some other countries they get, but in India, except one case which I have seen in my life, which came positive for Lyme disease. One CRPF dog they are brought from some other country. That time I got, but nowadays we in India we don't get the Lyme disease, even though we have a test for the Lyme disease. We do the test, but it's not a common
Okay.
condition in India. We talk about this,
Okay.
but we never come across. Definitely in Bangalore, I haven't seen any case which has typically shown the symptom of Lyme disease. It's very common in other countries. Yeah.
So in the clinical situation, you really haven't seen any
No,
Lyme disease.
even though we have a test, 4DX test, which we do regularly and which tells, which include the Lyme disease also, but it's not really very common in. We haven't seen any
Okay.
cases, so we don't have to
Okay.
worry too much about that. Yeah.
That's good to know, right? Because that is one of those things that I think is a concern worldwide. So that's a big one. All
America
right.
is very prevalent. So, and even tick paralysis also, people must have heard about tick paralysis.
Yeah.
So
We'll
those kind
come to some of the health problems. So some of the problems that humans, how it affects the humans, we'll just come to that in a little bit. We'll cover a couple of questions and then we'll come to that. Now, the next big question I think that pet parents have, like you said, see, people say that, but my cat never goes out. How does my cat, how can my cat have, fleas? Or, my dog cannot have ticks because my dog never goes out. So can you tell us what are the most common ways in which dogs and cats can how do they get ticks or fleas? What is the most obvious way really, or even in not so obvious way in which they can get them?
Okay, so in this first way, thing is whenever you are taking the dog for a walk, even if you are not taking in the park, also just outside your house, you 2 rounds you are giving, still there is possibility, because in India we have lots of stray dogs and which always carries the ticks. You can't control really to them, so they may in your area only there will be ticks prevalent already, and once your pet goes out, they mostly goes from the paws. They'll try to as soon as they touch, they can just catch one hair also, and then they'll climb on the body. So first thing is, even when they are going for walk, that is the first thing. Second thing, some people they say that my dog never go out, but he will come till the gate, and just outside the gate there are pets are there which is sitting there, and ticks will crawl there, come to the gate, and then again they can catch them. Very common problem comes when you're keeping your pet in the boarding. Definitely boarding, you get so many dogs, and sometimes for boarding people also very difficult to find out whether this dog is having 100% tick free or this having ticks. So practically not possible for the boarding people or kennel people to completely eradicate. So that is the most common finding. We see that my dog went for a to boarding kennel and came with the ticks, full of ticks and all. These are very common complaint. Another thing is, which is like really sometimes scary also, when dog come to the vet, and because we
Yeah.
get sick dogs. So when
Yes.
you're sitting in the waiting area waiting for your turn, or you're even standing outside also, and in the pets in the if pets is getting the ticks in kennel or in the your hospital, they are more prone to the disease also, because we get more disease dogs who is having already tick fever, and if any tick has bitten the dog who is come to us, and if that tick has fallen and bitten the another dog who is waiting in the waiting area, so again he may get the problem, the ticks also, and even if they are infected, they can get other disease also associated with the ticks. Yeah.
That's a very valid point. I don't think anybody thinks about that. That my dog doesn't have any ticks, but I went to the vet and I came back.
Yeah, it's very possible. I can't avoid also. Like I can tell the people though to take care of your pet, not when they're waiting in the waiting area. Or nowadays, though, we have asked all the people because of the COVID-19 to stay in their car only till their turn comes. So we call them. So we are avoiding the contact right now, but that's also helping in this way also to avoid the ticks to the dogs. Yeah, from out from the clinic or hospital. Yeah.
So there's one other thing that I wanted to check with you over here. Ticks are such tiny, ticks and fleas are such tiny little things, right? So is it possible, let's say that I live in a ground floor space, can they come into my space on the wind? Can a high wind or a high breeze bring them into my environment?
I never heard about that, but less likely.
Okay.
But they can climb on the walls easily. They can climb very fast.
Right. So even if there is anything in the surrounding environment, it will still enter my environment if I live in if I'm not like in an apartment, but I'm in a lower space, then it can still come in.
Second, third
Other thing,
floor.
yeah, right. What about cattle? So, I mean, we see there are, especially if you look at towards, the edges of Bangalore or the more suburban areas in Bangalore, you do see that there are cattle, right?
Yeah.
So, do they bring ticks in also? I mean, we've talked about strays. Yes, the stray dogs do bring ticks in, but what about cattle? Is that also something that is that one should be aware of?
Yeah. So if anybody is having in their vicinity any large animal, 100% there is always chance of getting more and more ticks, because cattle, and even especially the cattle, they get
Hmm.
lots of ticks. And sometimes you'll see a bunch of ticks on one area, on their vulval area, vaginal area. There will be lots of ticks hanging around that area if the owner is not taking care of that. And then because ticks will spread very fast, and being one tick can lay 1,500 to 4,000 eggs in at a time. So once they start breeding, it's difficult to control then for them. Yeah. And usually when the in large animal, the where they give food to their cattle, they have small cracks in those areas, and they'll keep breeding on those cracks, and they'll keep coming in full pultania. It's very difficult for them to treat. Yeah.
That's just those numbers are just scary. Up to 4,001 tick can breed up to
Yeah.
4,000 ticks. Those kind of
So
numbers are just
that we
scary
need
to
to keep
listen
in
to.
mind, that we need to keep in mind, because if sometimes if your dog has got by chance a female tick who is already been mated with a male, and mainly mating happens on the host, like on the dogs only. And once they
Okay.
mate, the female will suck lots of blood for to prepare these eggs, and then they'll fall and um, produce a lots of so sometime the people will say that for 2 months before, my dog was having 4 5 ticks, and then I put the tick medications, then it was fine. And then after 2 months, the whole dog is full of ticks, and I'm removing every day 20 ticks, and 30 ticks again coming. So that's why it happens, because minimum life cycle for a tick is minimum 2 months. It can go up to 2 to 3 years, the life cycle. So
Wow.
if any tick has laid the egg, they'll becomes larvae in 2 months completely if the conducive environment is there. And especially in our Bangalore, the environment is too good for the ticks, because it's never going below 12 degree, and not going above 43 44. So throughout the year we have a tick problem. That's why in north, when the temperature goes down below 12, usually they hibernate. It's not that they go from the place, but it hibernates. So once the conducive environment comes, they come back, and then he has the egg, and then again the whole system starts for them.
So what you're saying is that it can live in the environment. It could have gotten into a crack or something in your house anywhere, and it could stay and live in that environment without a host for up to 2 years.
Yeah, they can live. They can live without host for 2 years. They can just become silent, and that's all. And
So
once
it could be that I had a dog today, and let's say my dog died, or whatever, and I get another dog, say 6 months later, or even 1 year later, it could
there
still
is
pick
still
up ticks
possibility.
from the environment. So I think that is something, So when you're in between dogs, I think it's very, very important to then make sure that you're addressing the environment as
Yeah,
well as
environment to
possible.
be disinfect for the ticks, yeah, to
Right.
kill them.
Dr. Ramesh, there are a few questions here. Let me just quickly see what questions we can address now, and what people have to say. So I think there are a bunch of questions about how one should handle what is the prevention, which we'll just come to in a bit. Uh, Let me just see what else is there. Also, there are some questions about tick-related illnesses, which is the next topic that we'll be discussing. Rosalind, I think you've asked about Babesia. We will just address that in a minute. And how do we get rid of ticks? Of course, we're just coming to prevention and what is the way to handle it, and also whether grooming is something that will help with that. Also, another question Antlina has is it enough to just treat the ticks or control the infestation? We're just coming to that. So, Dr. Ramesh, next question the next part that we are going to be, that we'd like to talk about is what are the kind of illnesses that are really related with ticks. Now, when we talk about ticks and fleas, you were talking about allergies a little bit earlier, right? That the tick at a particular stage can cause allergy, and fleas, of course, is something that we know that can cause allergies. What are all the tick-related diseases and infections that are there?
Okay, so first we'll talk about the ticks only. So in the ticks, first ticks itself can cause the problem is because they suck lots of blood, and if the infestation in hundreds, they can bring the anemia to the pets because they are, if each ticks takes 0.3 ml of blood, then if thousands of ticks are there, so the total volume will be very high. That we have seen some of the rescue dog which is having full of ticks, and their hemoglobin will be very low. They may not have a tick fever also, but still their hemoglobin will be low. So one thing is they suck the blood, so there is chances of anemia in case they are fully infested, and if in hundreds of number of ticks are there on the body. Second thing, they can cause the itching. So especially the nymph larval stage only can cause the severe itching in the body. So in case if your dog is having itching, and probably if those lesions are small pinpoint lesions and there one black spots are there, so still you can think of the so that is allergy condition caused by the ticks. But biggest problem with the ticks is the disease transmitted by the ticks from the one dog to another, and which is a big problem in India right now and worldwide also. But those diseases are, I think everybody knows, the Babesia, Ehrlichia, Anaplasma. These are main species which can cause the tick fever. And the tick fever is a broad term. Mainly any disease which is transmitted through the ticks, we call it tick fever. But there are different kind of organisms, protozoan, which cause this. So those I'm telling you, the Babesia. In Babesia, there are different species are there: Babesia canis, Babesia volgai, Babesia gibsoni. So there are species which is more common in India, and Anaplasma, which is very milder disease, but sometimes can cause big problem also, and E. canis, which again another tick fever, which is not caused by the ticks, but transmitted through the ticks from one dog to another dog. It's a tick-borne disease.
Which is the most common of these that you normally see?
So see, earlier when we never used to have too much of diagnostic process, we used to think it's most of the disease are E. canis, but nowadays being PCR and other diagnostic processes are very common. We are getting lots of cases of Babesia canis, Babesia gibsoni also, and which is sometimes very difficult to treat also. Once the immune system of the pet is very bad, then it's difficult to treat. But otherwise, these diseases are still 95 to 98% cases, they get cured very well if on time treatment we do. Second, the fleas. Main problem with the fleas to the dogs is flea allergy only. And the flea allergy, once the dog get flea allergy, they can get secondary bacterial infection mainly, but sometimes even fungal infection also. Because when fleas bite, the dog will start biting itself, and whatever bacteria present on the skin, they'll start going deep into the skin and cause the secondary problem. So flea cause allergy, but because of allergy, they get secondary bacterial infection. And you have seen the outside dog sometimes on the street dog, they'll keep biting themselves from backside, and they don't have hairs on the body. So those are the flea problem. But because of fleas, other secondary disease also comes, which cause a whole lot of problems. In cat, fleas can cause one more thing is it can spread mycoplasma infection from one cat to another cat. Being nowadays we do lots of PCR earlier, because we never used to think that mycoplasma is so common in cat, but nowadays very commonly cases we are getting of mycoplasma in cats. Yeah. So if your cat is having fever, constant fever, there are possibility of viral infection, or there's a high possibility even mycoplasma. So mostly what happens when the cat is having fever, in viral infection, if fever is there, they'll be too dull and all. But in mycoplasma infection, they will not be too dull, but fever will be there, but still cat will keep eating and all. They'll not be having too much signs of dullness and all. So anyway, those things vet has to diagnose, but just as a broad term, I'm telling you these are slight differences. But yeah, still, if your cat is having fever, you need to think of viral disease first, and then we beside that mycoplasma also is a major concern nowadays. We have found that.
Okay. So
So that
how would, for the pet parent, what are the signs that you would tell them to look for, both in dogs as well as cats, to know? So a lot of the times, like you said, in cats, they may not even show any particular symptom. So how would one really know that there is something going on? So what are the symptoms that people should look for and immediately address? By address, of course, I mean, they should say, okay, I need to get to a vet right away. And what is the time span? So
okay.
a lot of the time people think like, okay, my dog has fever, or he's looking a little down. Like, I'll wait for a day and see how he's doing. Is it okay to do that? How much time do they have? How quickly do they need to get to a vet? I think that is also an important perspective, right? A lot of the times we see animals coming in after a few days, and
Yeah,
that
yeah.
ends up
In very
becoming a bit.
down stage where they are too ill that time. Yeah. So
Yeah.
first thing we need to see when in terms of tick fever we talk about in dogs I'll discuss first mainly. So first thing is in case if your pet is dull and you feel that for last 1 or 2 days he is reluctant to eat food and sleeping most of times at home, or if you see ticks are there on the body, or your pet has gone to a boarding kennel and next day onwards he is showing the sign of dullness, so then you need
Okay.
to if you have a dog still you can check the fever, because in dogs still it's not very difficult to check the fever. And in case fever is there, then it's a high chances of tick fever, because in our clinic data if we see, out of 10 dogs who is coming with a fever problem, 8 will be having tick fever. So
Wow.
if your pet is having fever, there's a high chances the fever is there. Or you need to see your pet's mucous membrane, open his mouth and see the mucous membrane, whether they are pink or whether they are red, means more pink or lighter pink, or that they are towards white color. Or in case if they have any kind of anemia, it will show in the mucous membrane. Or in case if
Okay.
your pet is having any bleeding spots on the skin, if they are bleeding from the nose, if they are bleeding from the motion, then there is still possibility of tick fever, because some most of tick fever they brings low platelets counts where spontaneous bleeding can start. So fever is the main thing, but some cases when the pet is chronically ill with the tick fever, they may not show any signs of fever. There will be only dullness and pale mucous membrane. So fever stage will go in first 2 to 3 days, and then they will show the other symptom of disease like quite dullness, that they'll be completely. And sometimes because of fever they may get vomiting, and also sometimes vomiting is not a symptom of always gastritis. It may be a simple symptom of other clinical disease like bigger diseases, tick fever and all. So those
Okay.
things only vet can diagnose, because once they take the blood sample, sometimes even when the dog comes to us and the dog is not having any single tick also, and we will check with the owner whether you have seen the ticks on the body. The owner will say that in last 3 months my dog never had any ticks. And once we do the blood test directly will show the platelets count is 10,000 somewhere. So you can't predict always with the all the references which I am giving, that okay, ticks should be present on the body. It's not a issue. Sometimes the pet is infected with the organisms maybe 3 months before, and he hasn't shown that because immune system is good for that particular pet. The organism may have hidden in the lymph nodes or spleen, and whenever the dog is in stress because of some or other issues, the disease will flare up that time. So it's not always that ticks should be present for the tick fever. Maybe the dog is may got affected before also. So ultimately, the diagnosis will be based on the blood test rather than the other clinical symptoms. Those can help to tell the owner that okay, let's take to the vet. My dog is definitely not fine. He's not as good as before. And don't correlate the one day you can correlate that okay, my father has gone out today and that's why my pet is dull or he's not eating. But next day if he's doing, definitely you need to think over that. Yeah, and that's so many times happen that okay, my pet is was dull for last 5 6 days and we thought that my mother wasn't there at home, so he is reluctant to eat. Or so those things we can see for 1 or 2 days but not too long. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's coming from the experience of having seen people come in a little late, and then this frustration of, oh my god, I wish you'd come in a few days earlier, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, so sometimes it's not the late also. Sometimes I have seen the cases in the dog which they have come for a simple grooming checkup, and after grooming, usually we give a thorough checkup to the pet. So we are checking, and if I feel that pet is having a little fever 103, we'll ask the owner, okay, can we run a test to find out whether he is having some problem or not? And most of the owner are okay. And in so many cases, pet is completely healthy, no symptoms, and still you will find the tick fever. So asymptomatic tick fever also prevalent. Like you can't. That's why I'm telling some cases where the 2-3 months there are no symptoms, and one day the pet has come with a low hemoglobin. So these disease they change their type also because of this. Yeah.
See, there's a question over here. Ashwini has asked that, what if the report does not show anything on tick fever? And, what are the symptoms that need to be watched for that the pet is sick due to tick fever? That you've addressed. But like she's saying, so I think if the dog has tick fever, it will definitely show in the blood test report. But the dog itself may be asymptomatic, right? Or is
Yeah.
it possible that your blood test may not also sure. So, is there a gestation period really, for the tick fever? So the tick bit today, but the symptoms or the blood test will start to show signs of the tick fever only after a certain period of time, or is it almost immediate?
See, there are two things. One is symptoms, and another thing is changes in the blood picture. So,
Okay.
so symptoms within 14 days, most of the time they show the symptoms. If the pet is immunity is low, they'll show the symptoms of those symptoms within 14 days only. So once
Okay.
the pet is showing symptoms, definitely there will be some change in the blood picture. Either the in E canis WBC count goes down. Sometimes E canis directly will attack on the immune system of bone marrow. In Babesia, most of times there will be platelets count will be low. So when in the books also when we read about the symptoms of tick fever or on the physical examination or on the blood picture, they'll say that with the tick fever, 80% dog will show the fever, 30% will show the vomiting tendency, 10% will show the pale mucous membrane. So you can't tell all the symptom will stay in one dog, or the platelet count is low in 80% of the tick fever cases. Not all that cases will show the low platelets count. Hemoglobin will be low in 60% cases. So you can't so your clinical experience also should work in that, plus your reports, and then you need to find out the solution. So sometime when we do PCR, the dog is showing typical symptom of tick fever, and PCR is a 98% sensitive and specific test, and it will come negative. But in
Oh,
that case, my clinical experience will tell, okay, I need to tell the owner that, okay, even though it's came negative and PCR also came negative, but I strongly feel that your pet is still having tick fever, so we need to treat it for that. Or I need to give them other things that, okay, one is the tick fever which we have suspected, or we have suspected some other disease like leptospira. Some rare cases can cause all these symptoms of tick fever, low platelets counts, low hemoglobin in 50 cases. Or there is immune mediated disease where immune mediated hemolytic anemia or immune mediated thrombocytopenia. So we need to
okay.
discuss with the owner, okay, these are the other possibilities. So we need to look into that, but those things can't bring the fever. If fever is there, there is an infection. So those clinical decisions we need to take based on our experience. Okay, we have seen the cases there, and they respond also with the medication, even though tests are negative. So these tests helps us to diagnose the condition, but they are not sole things to do everything. Then the doctor's role comes in that, the how experienced you are and how you are dealing with those cases. Yeah.
Right. So basically, what you're saying in terms of diagnosis, I just want to touch upon what are the various tests that you're used. So one is the blood test tells you what's going on. Of course, the physical examination that is there. You have a PCR test. Could you explain a little bit about the PCR test and why is it important or relevant in diagnosing tick-related diseases?
Okay, so definitely the physical examination and history is very important for us to first correlate the things. Then we go for a CBC test, which tells us the platelets counts, hemoglobin, and the WBC count. So most of the times Babesia bring the WBC count high. E canis, Ehrlichia canis bring the WBC down most of the times. The hemoglobin will be low in both the disease, and even platelets count will be low in both the disease.
Okay.
One specific thing comes in anaplasma. Sometimes platelets count can go very far down, below 10,000 also. But those are not the 100% things. Sometimes other tick fever also can bring down the platelets count below 10,000. But these are correlation we do. Then we go for the next step is once we feel that okay, there is tick fever is there, then we explain the owner that okay, one is tick fever we diagnose, but which kind of tick fever is causing problem, we need to do further diagnostic. Earlier days we used to do one peripheral smear. We used to make a smear on the slide and see under microscope if we can see the organism, but
Okay.
possibility of seeing the organism is very less. In 30% cases only we used to pinpoint the disease in that. Okay,
Okay.
but 70% cases we used to treat as a general tick fever cases only earlier. But for last
Okay.
4 years the things have changed, and everywhere in India we have started getting lots of laboratory who is doing PCR test. So PCR basically it diagnose the DNA of the organism. So it's very
Okay.
specific and sensitive test. Specific is like it will diagnose that specific organism only. So it's 98% specific. Sensitivity is like if I given a sample of 0.10 microliter to the laboratory, so it can diagnose from that also. But
Wow. Okay.
it
Okay.
so it's very specific and sensitive test, and being it's diagnose the DNA of the organism, so it's very specific to that particular things. But
Okay.
even in PCR also we are still getting the problems of I don't know whether it's a more of standardization or there are different kind of PCR which is the real PCR or kit based PCR. So some cases even though it comes negative, still we treat the dog with the tick fever and they respond also. So nowadays
Okay.
our clinical decision is very important to diagnose and treat at the end. Yeah,
That's where your experience comes in, right? It's the
yeah.
experience and the exposure that you have that comes in. So I guess the PCR is also becoming a go-to test now because it helps you identify which is the type of tick.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to look. There are a few questions over here. Let's just see what people have to say. I think a lot of people want to know about how we can prevent ticks, and I think that's the big thing, right?
Yeah.
We know what happens with the ticks. We know what are the problems with the ticks, but what can we do to stop this problem in its track? I think is what everybody wants to know. I'm sorry, I'm not calling each person's name out, and I'm not putting each question up simply because I think so many of you have actually asked that question. So let's look at let's ask Dr. Ramesh, what does he think? What are the most effective ways of dealing with this situation? How do you ensure that your dog doesn't get ticks? And of course, there are two aspects to this, right? There is one which is managing the animal itself, that is managing the dog or the cat, and the second is managing the environment. So let's talk about managing the animal. What would you suggest? What would you recommend for that?
Okay, so we'll talk in two topics. One is the treatment for the ticks infestation, and then the prevention part, because both are totally different part, and we have means everybody has to understand that prevention is different thing than control is. So once your dog you start finding ticks on your dog, so that's you need to treat that condition initially, and then once he's out of the whole episode, then you need to prevent it to further infestation. So when it comes to the treatment, there are lots of products which comes, even herbal products are there are medications, spot ons, sprays are there. But in my experience, um, spot on will not work for the completely to cure the condition. It is good for the prevention definitely, but for the cure you need to use either fipronil spray, and or there is recently one tablet has come with the name Bravecto, which is introduced in India for last 1.5 years, doing amazing. And I think lots of people will be having doubts because lots of other reviews are there about the. So I'm going to definitely I'm going to discuss that also, because being I believe that this is a
I was going to ask about that for sure.
okay. So I'll discuss with you. So when the ticks earlier days, what I used to do in my, I'm telling you my experience in that I used to apply the fipronil spray once weekly for 3 to 4 weeks. If your dog is not a very hairy breed, you can directly apply the fipronil spray. And if your infestation is too much, and if your dog is having long hairs, then usually I advise, if owner is okay, to give them trim so that it's easy to find out the ticks also and prevent also. Because if hairs are too much, while putting the spray also, the spray will stay on the hairs, it will not go to the skin, and it will not be that effective also. So once weekly for 3 to 4 weeks of the fipronil spray is quite effective in that way. And every time after giving bath, you can put the spray, because once you put the spray 7 days, I usually avoid giving them bath, because
Right.
the fipronil is water soluble, still it comes out. There is some residual effect stays, but it's not enough to kill the ticks. So why I usually say why you need to put for 1 month continuously every week, because adult will get killed with that. And but sometimes if in the environment their larvae nymphal stage is still roaming around, they'll keep coming again. So you need to continuously kill the cycles.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So once you treat, this is one part of treating your pet, and then you need to treat your environment. So for environment, safer way to treat is Amitraz. It's a product a different company makes. I think you must have heard about Rid or Amitraz solution. So Amitraz one,
Right.
yeah. So this Amitraz, usually on the bottle they've written 4 ml of Amitraz in 1 liter of water. Mop your house or spray the area where you are suspecting the ticks, and especially when you are spraying your house, any area where you see any cracks are there in your house, or some pots you have kept for longer time below the pots, everywhere you need to spray uh, twice a week, at least for 1 month. You need to do this procedure also. Either mop your house or spray your house with the Rid solution. The concentration you need to increase to 6 to 8 ml in 1 liter of water. So earlier this
Okay.
4 ml of concentration used to work for us, but nowadays slowly ticks are more resistant to these drugs. So we
Right.
need to increase the concentration. So 6 to
Yeah.
8 ml of Rid solution in 1 liter of water. Mop your house with that, or spray in the area wherever you are feeling that okay, these areas the ticks can hide. You put in those area, and I'll advise to keep your pet for 2 hours away from those area where you are putting.
Yeah. You don't want them licking these things, right? A lot of them can be
Even
toxic
though
also.
Amitraz is not very toxic, but still if they lick directly liquid completely, it can cause the toxicity also, even though it's not very severe toxicity, but still we don't want any complications. So these are preventive measures you can take. Nowadays,
Okay.
what I started doing is, instead of I take the consent from the owner. Okay, if the owner is able to spend the money 2,000 rupees for the tablet of Bravecto, you can, because Bravecto is quite effective. Once we gives 2 to 3 months, we don't see any ticks, and during that period, if you control your environment properly, you can get rid of the ticks completely also. Even though still there are chances they may hibernate somewhere where you haven't put the medication in the house, and still there is possibility of getting the ticks again. But this is quite effective control way. And in terms of the safety of the Bravecto,
There
so
are
when we
already questions. There are
huh,
already so many questions about should I use it?
okay,
What are the
so
side effects? I think there's so much that's being said about Bravecto right now.
yeah. So being it's effective, still people use. But in terms of toxicity, in my experience, in our clinic we must have like maybe 2,000 tablets we must have sold or more also. But in 2,000 cases, uh, I'm not sure, one German Shepherd, he has got one leg pain, but that is coincidence also. But the pain was such a way that it was not, there wasn't any injury and all. And after giving Bravecto, second day they told that my dog has got the pain in the leg. And that signs never been told in the literature also, that can cause problem. In one dog, the creatinine level has gone slightly higher side, and which came back to normal after 7 to 10 days. Except these two cases, I never seen any side effect, even though some of the people, they have told that in the Cupa center especially, they have told me that 4 of their dogs, they have got the fits after giving the Bravecto tablet. So
Okay.
but from my clinical experience, my clients never have complained till now. There are reports which they say that these are possible, even I have given 5 to 7 of my cases which is already having fits. They were the patient of epilepsy, and still they never got any problem with that also. So that's why I'm not
Okay.
able to believe. But being somebody has told me from Cupa, Sanjana has told me that she has got
That's
4. Yeah. So I
right.
can't deny that. Means still people has to think before giving the tablet. But from my experience, I never seen any. 2000 is a big number. I can say that
Yes,
if
it
2000
is.
dog never got any problems, then it's quite safe in terms, because if you're not giving, then your pet is getting tick fever, and then if you in terms of the effectiveness and in terms of their side effect, if you see, I feel that it's a best option for the pet owner. And if you see the treatment course, means cost, for 3 months, if you're using other product like Spot On for 500 rupees, one Spot On every month for 3 months, it's coming to the same only. So
Yes, yes,
if
absolutely.
yeah, so you need to see both the way also. Definitely cost, some people can afford, some people may not be able to afford. So those things we need to consider. But still, I personally feel that Bravecto is the best option if your dog is having too much of ticks. If few ticks are there, you can control with the other means also, with the spray and with the Spot On. But if it's infestation too much, and if they are keep coming again, like you're treating for once, and after 1 month you are getting the same problem, then next month again the same problem, and every time when you are coming to us also, we are also charging you again. Again. So so
I
if you
have
are getting a solution which is permanent for 3 months, and if I'm not sure whether your company can means you can find out and you can speak to 20 people who has given the Bravecto, and you are there, the face, you will see that their satisfaction, that okay doctor, I have given Bravecto and I'm very happy with that. Initially when it been introduced, I used to give very with the very tight hand, that okay, there may be possibility of some complication may come and all, but nowadays I don't think, I just write the medication, that's all. So this is my
I'm
experience, I
a
can say.
10 dog. I'm happy customer. 10 dogs,
Yes,
I'm
yes.
using Bravecto, and it's the best thing that happened to me.
Yeah. No, it's great actually. And pets, see, you don't realize, in my life I am beaten by one tick once only in my life, and that has irritated me 3 months. So it's, you don't think that when they bite to the dog, they don't get any problem. They get pain, complete pain, proper pain they get on each spot where the ticks are biting, and some dogs are having 20 ticks. So don't think that don't we should not think that okay, there are ticks only. It brings the discomfort to your pet. It's bring the, if your pet is scratching his ears, and if ears are clean, there is possibility ticks are in the ear. If your pet is biting his paws and you see there's no redness in the paws, there is possibility tick in those areas. So you need to see, means to make your pet comfortable, because always I say that whatever way, your pet should not have any discomfort in his life. He should not have pain. He should have a quality of life rather than the longevity. So quality, to give them quality, they should live easily, they should sleep nicely without any itching and all. So this is my experience, I'm telling you.
That's a very valid point. There's before we move on, there's one thing that you said which really made a lot of sense to me, right? Which is that I can worry about, whether it's a Spot On, whether it's a fibrillar spray, whether it's Bravecto. I can worry about giving any of these things to my dog, not give them. My dog could end up with a tick fever, which is a bigger infection then. So it
Yes.
comes down to, I think, taking that call. You're walking a line. This way is a problem. This way is a problem. Really, what am I going to do? I
Yeah,
think
you need to
that's that.
take a call on that. Yes, yes.
Yeah, that people are with. There's one really interesting comment over here that I want to put up, and I'll read it out to you uh, from Shalini. Just for whatever, there it is. So there is a lot of encouragement to use holistic methods to treat tick infestations in dogs, like homemade powders, homeopathy, or canine nutritionist diets,
Yeah.
or I think there things like more Ayurvedic solutions like neem. I think these are all given. And what Shalini says is people also look down upon veterinary medication or what they call toxic medications, like maybe the sprays or Bravecto or
Yeah.
the spot. And what is your view on that?
Okay, this is a valid point, but only thing is I'll say in that is prevention you can do with all these things. So best
Right.
way to prevent is to you can use the neem also, the neem oil also you can use, the powders also you can use, but I'm not sure about the homeopathy how much is effective. But yeah, as a preventive cure you can do with all these things. But when it comes to treatment, um, so many times earlier we right now in our clinic also we have product which is Ayurvedic product we also use, but when it comes to the cure of the condition, those things doesn't work. It is to you can prevent with those things, definitely you can keep. So we were discussing about the cure, means cure right now, the treatment, and now the prevention part. So you can do
Right.
the prevention with these products. I believe that is best way because you can avoid. But once your pet is having ticks, or especially the tick infestation, which is all different stages of ticks are present on your dogs, that means in your house somewhere they are breeding. If your dog is having one kind of ticks, which is adult ticks always, then most probably your dog is getting from the park or wherever you are taking him for the walk and all. So for the prevention, I'll discuss few of the points, very important points. So for the prevention, uh, when your dog is going out for a walk, or in the park for the walk, if you see that there's chance of getting, so I'll advise either you can put the neem oil on the up to the carpal area, half of the front, means leg down, you can apply on those areas. Yeah, apply on those areas. And there are some Ayurvedic sprays, or Ayurvedic sprays are also comes which can prevent all these things, so you can use those as a preventive. Or you can use once in a week fipronil spray only on the down, on the paws areas, because they climbs from that area only, and will be effective for 1 week. You put few sprays on the all the foreleg, and then you can prevent it. And most important is when your pet is going to the boarding. When your pet is
Right.
going to the boarding, there are two way to handle again. Either you need to put a spot on, and spot ons, there are different kind of spot ons, which one is very effective, which one is less effective. It's a debate on that. I can't comment on that also, but again, my favorite is still Brevecto. I'll if you are scared of, because you'll end up in different problems, you'll end up in the tick fever problem, and then you'll keep thinking over that. So if you feel that your pet is going more than 2 days to a kennel, I'll advise either spot on, or you need to give Bravectols only to prevent the unnecessarily in future complications of ticks. And
Right.
being in so many dogs which is asymptomatic way, they comes to the clinic, to the boarding center. If any ticks is biting them, and if they bite to other dogs, they'll get the clinical disease also. So there are so many different kind of problems comes if you don't control these things. But yeah, so many
It's
people
protection
they
for both. Right? In boarding, it's protection for both. One is that you're protecting your dog from getting ticks from
yeah,
any other dog, and
yes, yes,
also
both the way.
to ensure that your dog is not passing anything on. So from
Yes,
both
yes,
ways,
yes.
really.
So if
Yeah.
everybody is responsible, see, some people will say that okay, my dog doesn't have ticks and all, it's fine, I don't have to worry about that. But even though sometime in hairy breed you may not find the ticks, and if you are not vigilant, you'll miss those things.
Yep. So there are a couple of questions I think also regarding Bravecto, which is that at what age do you really start giving? Can you start giving the tablet?
So usually they says the body weight should be more than 4 kg, and the age should be more than 8 weeks, 8 to 12 weeks. Usually I prefer, in my experience, is 12 weeks later only I gives. Body weight in small dogs, try to avoid in very small dog. If they are too small, like Shih Tzus and all, till they becomes 4 months, I avoid. Till they becomes 4 kg and all, I use, because Shih Tzus are prone to mites, other mites also, and it's highly effective for demodicosis mites. Like, it's a magical drug for
Yeah.
generalized demodicosis. We never used to get succeed completely, but you give one tablet and the dog will be cured in no time.
That
So
is mange, right? What we're talking about?
yeah, mange, yes, you can say mange, yeah. So it's a
Yeah.
highly
Okay.
effective for all kind of the mites, even all kind of mites is highly effective. So you're controlling with the Bravecto mites, with the ticks, for the fleas, everything.
Okay. What about small breed dogs? You're saying it has to be over 4 kgs. So, like, let's look at something like a Maltese or
Maltese,
whatever.
Maltese. So
So,
I'll prefer more of the, because their body is small. You can check their body very easily. Whole of the body, you can just see his paws, his ears, and all. It's very easy to look into the dog, and you can just
right.
treat with the either with the manual way of taking all the ticks out, or you can put the fipronil spray, or your herbal product can be used in that's okay. You can use that,
Okay.
because in small dog you can check, and being the small dog will be in your bedroom all the time, so less likely to get the ticks also, because
Right. That's a valid point.
yeah,
So,
even Shih Tzus
I'm
also, they'll be in bedroom, so less likely to get also. Yeah.
There are a couple of interesting questions. One, Shobit asks, is there a way to soothe the pain? Like you mentioned, even dogs, they do hurt, right? When the tick bites,
Yeah.
is there anything that any oils or anything, home solution that can be done to kind of ease that, those little bites or those marks that come?
Okay, so in terms of medication, not really required medication, but to ease that, there is spray comes, Ayurvedic spray from Natural Remedies. One Relief Flame spray is there, or you can just take the aloe vera and apply over that area where so aloe vera is good option for you. Even fresh aloe vera you can use, or without any other ingredient. If plain aloe vera cream you have, you can use that also. But in terms of medication, until unless the dog is biting that area and the dog making that whole area wet, you don't have to give medication. Otherwise, in case if you see your dog is getting biting those areas constantly, and he's getting some eczema or hot spot, then there are some creams are there to bring the soothing effect, like T-Bact ointment or Suprocin B ointment. Those ointment can be used.
Right, at that point when you should be seeing a vet, right? If it has
Yeah,
moved into a wetness or an eczema or moistness, then you
eczema.
should be seeing
But
a vet
yeah.
at that.
Otherwise, you can use these herbal product. You can use, or that's all, more than enough.
Okay. The another question I think that Ashwini has is that should we give Bravecto to a dog where there are no ticks on the dog at all, and that it's supposed to be given every 3 months. So do
Yeah.
they need to take? Let me just put that question up.
Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that.
So give even when there are no ticks, and that to every 3 months. Do we need to take breaks in between? Because
So
at the end
I'll
of the,
advise.
like she says, yeah,
So I'll to advise in these cases, you can try to avoid the giving Bravecto until unless you see a risk of if you are going to a park every time and you come with few ticks on and off, then I'll advise you can use that. But if you don't go in the area where ticks are prevalent, you can try to avoid. You can use even those herbal product. Even you can use the other spot-ons. I also definitely feel that we should not keep giving the medications, but whenever, especially when you're going to any of the gathering, where in park where the other dogs are coming, in that case, or when your pet is going to the kennel, most important, when you're going for the kennel, definitely better you give Bravecto. Other things you can still try to manage it. Or if your dog is on and off getting the ticks like whole throughout the year, because I see so many dogs, whenever they comes to me, they will be having ticks. So in those cases, because those dogs, they go out for the walk, and outside those other dogs are there, they are carrying ticks, they'll keep getting. So in those cases, I'll advise you give, try to give constantly also, but there's nothing like you have to give any in between rest and all to the body, nothing like that, because it doesn't create problem to the kidney and liver. It just stay in the with the RBCs, and when the ticks bites and suck the blood, RBC goes and kill the ticks. So it
okay.
doesn't really create problem.
I think one of the concerns is also that, I mean, we've all been using medications for so many years, right? From
Yeah.
it used to be called Tactic at one point, and then Raid, and then there is different sprays and different spot-ons, and ticks have mutated over time. They
Yeah.
have mutated. They've become
Yeah, they
immune
are.
for.
Yeah.
Yeah, so today, like for example, my dogs, a spot on is completely ineffective on my dogs. Where 7-8 years back, a spot on was so effective. Now it has no effect whatsoever. I find ticks right on the place where I put the spot on also. So I think we're also constantly evolving, right, in terms of trying to find new products. As always, every so often there's a new product or a new chemical composition that comes in to kind of take care of this. Is there any solution for cats? Like for dogs, we're talking about spot-ons, we're talking about Bravecto, but what about cats? What do you do for cats?
So for cats, because cats they don't get ticks. I never seen, or maybe 1 or 2 cats must have seen in my life only with the ticks infestation. It's not infestation. Maybe the cat is with the dog, and because the owner is having both cat and dog, and 1 or 2 ticks I seen on the cat also moving on the fur, but it's not biting. I never seen any cat which is being bitten by a tick. So
Okay.
and to cure the fleas, it's very easy. There are lots of spot-ons which works very well for the fleas. Fleas are not very difficult to cure and even prevent also. And fipronil spray is highly effective for that. Yeah, it's once you put the spray properly on the cat, they'll vanish in no time. So I don't think there's any much problem with that. In that you can use. If your cat is indoor cat, you don't need, even once you treat it, they hardly get any fleas and all again. But in case if your cat is uh, in case if your cat is going out in and out, then better you keep putting the spot on your cat, because they meet other cats and all, and they tends to get fleas definitely. Even for my cat also, I had to put every month, otherwise he'll keep scratching. So you need to decide based on that.
I have one final question for you, Dr. Ramesh. We're almost out of time, but I think that this is an important question, so let's just quickly address it. We've talked about tick-related infection symptoms, all of that with the animals, with the dogs and with the cats. Is there any of these that are zoonotic? Are there any of them that can affect human beings? And what is it that people should be aware of, or should they be concerned about when it comes to ticks and fleas for human health?
Okay, so Lyme disease, which can happen in the human also, but we fortunately we don't have that problem. So I'm not going to discuss about that. But yeah, ticks can bite. I told you in my life once one tick has bitten me, and it's caused the one rash on that, and then the hard spot, one nodule formation. Ultimately, after 3 months, it's vanished. So they can bite you, but not really create much problem. Some people are allergic to flea bites. I have seen some of my clients who has come with the reaction in the body, like lots of rashes on the body because of flea bites, especially the cat owner. So flea will not create any major issue even in human also, but some people are highly allergic to flea bites. If one flea will bite, they'll start scratching all over the body. Otherwise, not really. They don't create much problem in the human. So fortunately, in that way, we are safe in to get.
So these tick fevers are not, they don't affect human beings. They are the or the babesia, whatever, they don't affect the human beings.
No. These are not disease which is it's not been documented till now.
Okay, that's good to know, right? I mean, that is, I think, something. When we live with our pets, we have to also be aware of what are the possible health concerns that we have. So I think that's a really important thing. Dr. Ramesh, this was amazing. Thank you. You have answered so many questions.
Everyone, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much for being on, and amazing, very, very, very informative session. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.